Hello, hello! Welcome back to VBS Event Summaries. It's time to kick it up a notch with today's Kohane focus. VBS has their biggest event yet on the horizon, and things are definitely starting to get real. Kick It Up a Notch ran on the JP server from February 19th through the 26th, 2023. Interestingly, the event lasted for one additional day on the global server the following year. This is also the first VBS event that I was there for. So, we've reached my joining of the fandom once again. The commission song for this event is One Sheep. I used to be really into One Sheep. I even had it as my favorite VBS song for a while. The absolute gauntlet of the mid-2024 through early 2025 VBS lineup completely eclipsed that, though. I'll be sure to yap sufficiently about that when the time comes. For now, let's not waste a single second more. Everyone is super tense at Weekend Garage as they wait for the verdict from Arata and An. They were the ones chosen to negotiate with the owner of Crawl Green. And, right on cue, the two come right through the front door bearing good news. VBS and crew officially have the green light to perform at the very venue where Radar debuted. That means, not only do they have big shoes to fill, they'll have an extra special set of eyes in the audience. Taiga needs to make good on his promise, after all. The aforementioned musician walks in the door next, and after hearing the news, ropes Ken into coming as well. So, Taiga and Ken, back at their old haunt, watching the next generation of singers step into the spotlight. To say everyone is beyond nervous would be an understatement. Suddenly, Taiga gets an important phone call. He's outside for a while, long enough for Ken to feed 10 hungry teenagers. When Ken goes outside to turn on the outside lights, he catches the tail end of Taiga's call. It seems he's going back to the US. Soon. He doesn't say how soon, but soon. Apparently, it's for a nationwide tour. An and Kohane walk out of the cafe. Kohane needs to head home soon, and as the girls walk away, Ken asks Taiga if he's really okay with leaving his student behind. Taiga comments that this whole thing with training Kohane was just some whim of his, and that he could really go for a beer right about now. Ugh, I kinda forgot how much of a jerk Taiga actually is. A week passes by, and it's time for Kohane's training session with Taiga. This week, he has her going around the city taking photos. Kohane dutifully does as she's asked, and talks with Taiga about how she's grown to love the city after being scared of it at first. That's when Taiga breaks the news to her. He plans to accept the offer of a US tour, and as such, doesn't have much time left to be teaching Kohane. Of course, Kohane understands, and repeatedly congratulates Taiga on yet another huge step in his career. All that said, Taiga still has one little test to give Kohane before he leaves, and that's to sing right here, right now. She does, and Taiga's expression doesn't change. He praises her though, saying she's definitely improved since the last time he heard her. Taiga also reveals the true purpose behind his unorthodox training methods. He wasn't trying to make Kohane a better singer technically, but more intrinsically, giving her the tools to improve her quality of music in more ways than just being able to hit higher or lower notes. Things like emotion, imagery, and the impact behind what she's doing. So, Taiga decides to administer a final exam. Kohane needs to perform solo again at an event. Oh, and not just any event, one of the ones that VBS and crew hosts. She could be like the opening act, like how Nagi opened for Rad Weekend. With that, Taiga leaves. Kohane thinks about if performing as the opening act for their event at Crawl Green is really a good idea, since this performance in particular is really important to the others, especially Akito. He's sort of treating this like a redemption arc, so, stealing the spotlight like that isn't the most tactful thing to do. But since Taiga is leaving soon, this might be Kohane's only chance to show him how far she's come. Kohane arrives late to joint practice with everyone, and once she arrives, they all get to talking about what sort of event they'd like to host at Crawl Green. This is where Kohane pitches the idea of her opening for the event, and surprisingly, Akito is the one to back her up first. He thinks she'll somehow explode in terms of talent like at the last Day Golden, if given the opportunity. Well, since Akito vouched for her, the others agree as well. Arata says he's on the fence, and thinks he'd be the better solo act, but whatever man, let the hamster have her moment. Some more scenes of joint practice across a period of a couple days come next, and all that you really need to know is that Kohane is starting to feel the pressure, and it's leaking into her singing. She's working super hard to combat that, though. An asks the rest of her squad if they'd like to come with her to see Crawl Green after school the following day, especially since Kohane and Toya haven't been there before. They all agree, of course. Our poor little hamster is practicing so much that she's losing sleep over it, and falling asleep at her desk at school. Not during class, thankfully, but still. Suddenly, Kohane receives a message from An saying that she's waiting at the front gate of Mia Girls. Aw, how cute! An came to pick her up. Anyway, Toya's still busy with the library committee stuff, and of course, Akito wanted to wait for him. So An decided to come get Kohane early so they can hang out together before it's time to go to Crawl Green. Is it even a VBS event if there isn't an Anhane date? In fact, the title of this chapter is A Date While Wearing Our Uniforms. I shouldn't have expected anything less. They only make it through one store before Kohane is falling asleep on An's shoulder, and the latter is whispering little comforts into her ear. Literally, what the heck? They can't be getting away with this! Once Kohane wakes up, the locals convince An to sing for them, just one song. Kohane comments on how both An and Taiga grew up in this city, how they've been surrounded by the warmth of their community for years, and how it shaped both of them as people. She hopes to make connections like that someday. For now, let's head off to Crawl Green. It seems like Akitoya had a date of their own as well. Anyway, the sound check goes well, and soon VBS is chatting with the owner. He pokes at Akito a bit, who gets all serious and stuff, before the conversation moves over to Radar, because of course it does. It's nothing we haven't heard before. Radar is the coolest ever, and they changed the city for the better as soon as they debuted. You get the picture. Radar is basically a religion with the way the people of Vivid Street talk about them. Aha, here's our obligatory Sekai break. The VBS Vocaloids do feel a little more detached compared to Night Court. They really only show up just so they can justify having a card in the gacha. Today's Sekai trip includes appearances from Miku, Meiko, Luca, and Len. After the debrief and some sappy stuff about Vivid Street's community, Kohane asks everyone to watch her solo practice and give her pointers. Immediately, Len says that she's super tense, to which everyone agrees. Luca steps in to fix things. She asks to sing with Kohane, to sing without thinking about anything. No pressure, no looming insecurities, just singing. Miku joins in as well, and through some Sekai magic, they're just what Kohane needs to get back on track. They are created from the feelings of the group after all, so it stands to reason that they'd be able to supply exactly what Kohane needs to break out of her rut. It seems like it's just support, easing her in and out of the spotlight, but Kohane shows marked improvement in the eyes of her teammates. If she sings like this, Kohane will be more than capable of opening their event at Crawl Green. So, the fateful day finally arrives. Of course, everyone is a bundle of nerves, especially Kohane, since the pressure is focused on her even more so than the others. Ken, Taiga, the audience, everyone is expecting great things from them. Let's kick it up a notch, Kohane. See what I did there? Okay, no more jokes. Summarizing the actual performance part of VBS events is always a struggle, since it's a lot of internal thought that we've already heard before, but I'll do my best. Kohane stares out into the audience, noticing people she knows in the crowd. There's Ken and Taiga, but also the lady from the crepe shop, the store owner that let Kohane take pictures of her, the staff from other live houses they performed at. And suddenly, starting this event off doesn't sound so daunting anymore. Using all of her feelings as fuel, Kohane begins to sing. Oh wow, the background track actually features Kohane's vocals too. It's a song I've never heard before as well. I'll have to research what song she's singing. One cheer from Taiga and Kohane kicks it into another gear entirely, and the effects ripple into the audience. Ken, Taiga, and An all realize the same thing at the same time. She's just like Nagi, and she hasn't even hit her ceiling yet. The song finishes and Kohane hands off the baton to Ever. The rest of the event follows a smooth rotation of performances, each one better than the last. Until, of course, it's time for VBS to take the stage. I'm sure you can guess the reaction of the crowd, and of each member of VBS reacting to Kohane's singing. The only thing out of the ordinary is An's own self-doubt in the face of Kohane's improvement, but I guess it's not all that novel since we've seen it before. In the middle of VBS's set, Taiga decides to leave. He doesn't like getting involved in something that he can't commit himself to fully. Bye, I guess. Ken lets Taiga go since he says there's still one more thing he needs to take care of, and watches as VBS inches ever closer to their goal, and to Radar's dream. Taiga only has a few days left before he leaves for the US. Before then, that girl needs to know. The thing that was most important to himself and Ken, it's not as simple as it seems. Well, another plot-filled event, am I right? That's not sarcasm, by the way. I really do think this was really big for VBS, and of course for Kohane. It could have been shorter in my opinion, but all of the extra content is fine if you're a big VBS fan. I looked into the name of the song Kohane sings as the opener, and it looks like it doesn't have an official name. However, she does sing Follow Me as one of the lyrics, so I think that's what the fandom has taken to calling it. If you want to go listen, that's what you should look for. Or just what song does Kohane sing in Kick It Up a Notch, because that's what I googled and I didn't have any issues finding it. I think we're really hitting our stride in terms of VBS event. That goal of surpassing Rad Weekend doesn't seem too far away now, does it? We'll be taking a short break between the rotations of focus events with the next event on the list, Never Give Up Cooking. I think it'll be fun. I'll see you then.